Good morning. My name is Mark Buck. I am Vice President of Admissions with ECCouncil University. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today during this webinar entitled, It's Your Future and That Future Is Now. We are so excited to have so many participants who've joined us this morning to learn more about cybersecurity, the cybersecurity industry, and more importantly, about the future and the job outlook for careers in cybersecurity. I'll be your host this morning. We're going to go ahead and present a lot of information. Feel free to take notes. If you have a question, we're going to ask that you jot that question down. Towards the end, we will have a chat feature. We will leave a little bit of time to try and answer as many questions posted in the chat as possible. If we're not able to answer your question, you will have an opportunity to reach out and speak to one of our team members who can answer your question and provide you additional information. We hope that the information you receive today is exciting, it's informative, and it helps provide the insight and the information you might be looking for, whether you're exploring and contemplating whether a career in cybersecurity is a career for you, or whether you're here today because you're already working in the field and you're curious about how you can continue to advance your career. So let us begin. So our agenda today, we're going to talk about the landscape of cybersecurity. We're going to talk about some of the current trends. It seems like every day, every week, things in the area of cybersecurity and the cyber world are changing. So we'll talk about what some of those trends are that those of us in the industry are seeing. We're going to talk about what some of the current threats are, why cybersecurity even exists. And then we're going to talk about what some of the expected threats some of the experts are indicating we can expect. We'll talk about some of the industries. You might be surprised when you see some of the industries that are in great need of cybersecurity professionals to help prevent cybercrime in their area or in their industry. We'll talk about the global employment look. Cybersecurity isn't just a national issue, it's an international and a global issue. So we'll talk about the employment look globally. We'll also talk about some salary statistics. I know, and we know it's important that when somebody is contemplating exploring a career, looking at not just the outlook, but what type of salaries are associated with that. So let's just go ahead and talk about some of the current trends and the threats are. There was a study conducted by Michael Cukier, the University of Maryland, who indicated that computer hacks happen on an average of every 39 seconds. And just to kind of put some dollar amounts to that, cybercrime in 2021 is estimated to have inflicted damages totaling $6 trillion. I'm going to say that again, $6 trillion. Cybersecurity Ventures, which is a leading publication on cybersecurity and cybercrime, indicates that cybercrime costs are going to grow by 15% per year for the next 5 years. And that literally by 2025, that $6 trillion will grow to over $10 trillion. What most people don't understand, that cybercrime actually represents the greatest transfer of economic wealth in history. It actually exceeds and is larger than damage inflicted from natural disasters. So imagine if you added up all of the natural disasters across the world and globally, cybercrime actually inflicts more damage than all of those natural disasters combined. And this was a point that actually surprised me. It's actually more profitable globally than all of the major illegal drugs combined. So I just want to be able to set the tone to help everybody understand how critical, how urgent, and how important it is when we're addressing cybercrime. And it doesn't just mean hacking somebody's information, getting somebody's bank account. It's the destruction of data, stolen money, lost productivity, theft of intellectual property, personal financial data, embezzlement, fraud. The list goes on. And so as you can see, the need for cybersecurity professionals to help organizations, government agencies, and for individuals and individuals in the civilian area to be able to protect themselves. Going on, obviously these threats continue to exist. Well, why do they exist and why are they growing? Well, let's think about it. The advancement in technology and innovation has really created additional needs. Whenever there's an advancement in technology or innovation, what it does is it creates more opportunity for the cyber criminals. And it really requires those in cybersecurity to step up their game and make sure that we're addressing those, right? We talk about hacking. You might have heard the term ethical hacking. And what ethical hacking is, it's really kind of the good guy hacking. It's organizations, government agencies, industries really kind of preparing and trying to hack their own systems so that they can better be prepared to offset the cyber criminals and their attempts. The landscape has really changed dramatically, and we're going to talk about that. The other thing is, if you think about COVID and the pandemic, allowing so many employees to now work remotely has actually created an entirely new set of challenges for organizations. It opened up a whole new area and a whole new arena for cyber criminals that many organizations didn't really think about. So cyber attacks, you hear the terms. You probably see something on the news or hear something every day about a cyber attack. Well, where are those attacks happening and how are they happening? You've heard of the term phishing, right? And we're not talking about throwing a line in the water and trying to catch a fish. But phishing literally is, it's bait. It's bait that cyber criminals go ahead and put out there. Just the other day, I received an email, and it appeared to be an email from my boss. And it was indicating that my boss had lost my cell phone number and wanted me to email my cell phone number back to her. Well, guess what? It really wasn't an email from my boss. It was an email that was sent from a cyber criminal. And had I responded and provided my cell phone number, that cyber criminal would have had access into not only my computer, they would have had my cell phone number, and they would have had the opportunity to actually hack into my cell phone. So when you hear phishing, and if you work within organizations, many organizations have created training for employees to be able to identify where phishing might be occurring in their workplace and how to avoid that. Ransomware strategies. You know, we hear about cyber criminals who obtain an organization's data and then they demand money. They demand a ransom. Otherwise, they indicate they're going to go ahead and continue to hack that data and get into that information. Cryptojacking, cryptocurrency. You know, I think we've all seen the news with some of the challenges and some of the downfalls of some of the cryptocurrency leaders in the world. Well, cryptocurrency has created its very own unique set of opportunities for cyber criminals. Cyber physical attacks, actually physically having the ability to get into a database of an organization and get into their information. State-sponsored attacks, right? State agencies, government agencies, you know, having to protect their data and their information, right? IoT really is, it's the Internet of Things. Just so many changes in the way we interact with each other, the way we conduct business, just the Internet of change and how the Internet is constantly changing creates opportunity for attacks. Smart medical devices, electronic medical records. I think, you know, we've all had the experience when we go into a hospital or go into an emergency room, right? Typically what happens is they get our information. It might be our social security number. It might be information about our insurance. And what do? They load that information into electronic devices. And now hospitals and medical organizations, they no longer keep hard copies. They track all of their records electronically. Again, providing a potential breach and providing an opportunity for cyber criminals. Third parties, vendors, contractors, partners. Think about contractors. When COVID hit and a lot of the industries were hit. The manufacturing industries were one of the hardest hit areas. So as contractors, if you were building a home, contractors were really challenged to get the materials that they needed to conduct their business. So they were put in a position that they had to start doing a lot more of their business electronically. And anytime there's an increase in the use of electronic commerce, again, the opportunity for cyber criminals expands. Connected cars and semi-autonomous vehicles, right? When you get into your car, if you have a smart vehicle, whether you're using a GPS or whether you are using a Bluetooth in your car is now what's called a connected vehicle, and that is connecting to your phone. Cyber criminals have figured out a way how to access that equipment in your vehicle as a means of getting into your other electronic information. If you're on a computer and you have Wi-Fi in your vehicle, again, another opportunity. So when we talk about industries, the automotive industry is a new industry, but it's an industry that has recognized the significant increase in risks pertaining to their area. Social engineering, right? Social media. You know, looking back over the last 10 years, how social media has developed and expanded. And again, as I said earlier, anytime there's opportunities in innovation and technology comes increased risk. So what are the industries that are in need of cybersecurity? Banking and the financial industry. Banking and the financial industry is the #1 industry that is targeted by cyber criminals. Why? That's where the money is, right? Think about mobile banking apps. You know I personally get frustrated sometimes when I want to go on my mobile banking app and all I want to do is I want to see if a check cleared, or I want to see what my balance is. And I have to go through a series of verifications. Is this really you? We're going to email you a code. Go to your email, get your code, come back to your banking app. Go ahead and put that verification code in. Once in, I might get a series of security questions. You know, what was your mother's maiden name? What was the name of your first pet? All of those verification steps really are firewalls and ways of industries protecting their data information, which is ultimately mine. So banking is absolutely one of the most needed industries. As a matter of fact, here at ECCouncil University, we're actually seeing more students who have backgrounds in accounting and finance coming and enrolling in our cybersecurity programs so that they can have a dual competency and skill set, one in finance and banking, and in finance and accounting, and another in cybersecurity. Healthcare, we talked about the need for healthcare organizations to be able to protect information and data. And all of this ultimately is the information and data of the consumers, which are you and I. E-commerce, right? I don't think a day goes by where I don't see an Amazon truck at least 2 or 3 times in front of my house. The way we do business now, the way we purchase our services, our goods, that whole area of e-commerce has created a new set of risks in the business and normal day-to-day transactions in commerce. Excuse me. Manufacturing. We talked about the manufacturing. Whether you're manufacturing automotive parts, whether you're manufacturing goods and services, if you're in the manufacturing industry, you are a target for cyber criminals. Automotive, we talked about, you know, the need to increase protection in the automotive industry. Hospitality, again, one of the #1 and one of the top areas in industries that cyber criminals target. Why? Well, if you think about it, you know, the airlines, you look at hotels. What typically happens when somebody makes a reservation at a hotel or they book a flight? They have to provide credit card information. They have to provide personal information. So the hospitality area, when you go and when you go to a restaurant, you have a dinner and you pay with a credit card, right? Now at some points in restaurants, You don't even need to see a waiter or waitress to pay your bill. They have a little unit on your table. All you do is swipe your card, punch in what kind of tip you would like to leave your server. It prints out a receipt and you're on your way. So the hospitality industry is a huge industry targeted by cyber criminals. State, federal, and local government agencies. You know, I can't speak enough in terms of the threats and the risks that exist in this area. Our government agencies are one of the #1 targets by cyber criminals. And unfortunately, the arena of cyber criminals does not always or aren't always limited to individuals trying to get data and trying to get financial information. Unfortunately, we live in a world where there's a sect of cyber criminals that are really looking to induce harm on our government agencies and across the world, and the risks that need to be taken very seriously. So I think our state, federal, and local government agencies and international agencies have recognized the risks that exist and the need to step up. Education. You know, I think if I go back over the last 2 years, I've seen no less than 4 universities that have had their data and information breached by cyber criminals. Why? If you think about it, in education, again, there's a lot of very, very personal and confidential information that exists in our educational institutions. Airlines. And unfortunately, the airlines and the risks and the threats that exist in the airline industry doesn't just exist in the area of data and information. You know, while it sounds far-fetched, you know, if we go back to 9/11, 9/11 was actually a tragedy which many international agencies for the first time recognized the need to increase cybersecurity. And we're all aware of the unfortunate incidents that happened on 9/11 and how those airlines and those planes were hijacked. It's a realistic threat to think that there are cyber criminals and cyber terrorists that have the ability to potentially hack and take control of an airliner. And just think how tragic that could be if that were to take place. So the airline and the transportation industry is absolutely an industry that has recognized how critical the need for cybersecurity is. And mobile communication. You know, I think we all have one of these. Unfortunately, these have taken a stronger and a more dominant place in our life. So again, just recognizing the industries where cybersecurity is in huge demand. You know, I won't get into it, but I think all you need to do is look in the news, right? CIO.com indicated that 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs existed by 2021. And that has grown and continues to grow by 15%. So as these needs for cybersecurity and as these needs to increase security in the cybercrime world increase, so does the job opportunity and the career opportunities, right? In India, the cybersecurity market is supposed to grow to $35 billion by 2025, you know, and so I would encourage you, pick up your periodicals, watch the news, do your research. Career opportunities and the job outlook in the area of cybersecurity is going to continue to grow. Here are a few more examples. I won't get into all of them, but whatever country you reside in, look into your news, look into your periodicals and your news agencies, and you'll be able to see that. The Bureau of Labor Statistics indicated that the number of individuals employed within the cybersecurity sector is slated to grow by 31% between 2019 and 2029. Okay, that rate exceeds the average for all occupations. So cybersecurity right now is the #1 growing industry and the #1 employment and career opportunity compared to all other occupations. In 2020, cybersecurity jobs grew by 38%. That was compared to 18% for all other IT jobs. So you might be working in IT right now, contemplating a career in cybersecurity and asking yourself, is it worth the investment? It absolutely is. So again, the cybersecurity jobs grew by 38% compared to 18% for all other IT jobs combined. So what are these in-demand careers and what are these opportunities, right? So these are US based salaries, but a security specialist, somebody that's basically working with an organization to help maintain and make sure that their databases are secure. Average salary in the US is a little over $111,000. An incident responder. Think of an immediate responder. Think of your paramedics, your police, your firefighters. You know, those immediate incident responders that we encounter on a daily basis. Well, we have incident responders in the world of cybersecurity. When there's a breach or there's a threat or there's a risk, incident responders that come in and help identify and help secure the situation. I won't go through all of these positions or all of these salaries, but just some additional ones. Security administrator, vulnerability assessor, cryptographer, security manager. And then as you evolve in your career, a chief information security officer, quite often referred to as a CISO, information security analyst. You'll see that some of these are starting salaries, but are very, very rewarding starting salaries in the area of cybersecurity. But the opportunity to advance and grow into higher compensated positions and positions with more responsibility absolutely exists. So if there is a job title here that catches your eye, I would really encourage you, go search resources such as a ZipRecruiter or Indeed. Do your research, go out there and see what type of jobs are available and excuse me, and validate for yourself the need for these types of jobs and the compensation that's associated with it. So let's talk globally, right? India is one of the #1 nations in the world that really have an increased need for cybersecurity. Why is that? Well, India's market for products and services are going to grow to $35 billion in 10 years, compared to $4.5 billion now. So anytime you see that type of economic growth within a country or within a state or within any type of area, when you see those goods and services grow and that economy grows, so does the risk for cybercrime. Professionals actually indicate that the need for cybersecurity professionals is going to grow by 10 times the amount over the next year. Obviously, there's a huge shortage of cybersecurity analysts and other professionals in India. And what's interesting is that despite possessing the world's largest IT talent pool, India currently lacks and leads in lacking experienced cybersecurity experts. So let me repeat that, because that was a data point that actually really caught me by surprise. In India, they possess the world's largest IT talent pool, yet they're one of the leading nations in lacking experienced cybersecurity experts, right? Companies and businesses in India, they're ready to pay a premium for cybersecurity specialists because of the need. I'm going to go ahead. We talked a little bit about the threats. What are some of the jobs that are available in India? Network security engineer, cybersecurity analyst, security architect, cybersecurity manager, CISO, like as we talked about, chief information security officer, and ethical hackers. So what are some of the top companies that are hiring for cybersecurity in India right now? You might recognize some of these organizations: Microsoft, Accenture, Salesforce, Thomas Reuters, ACT FiberNet, Tata Communications, Deloitte, and Capgemini Engineering. So these are all companies right now that are in demand and are hiring for cybersecurity professionals in India. Another nation and country that's in a huge need right now is Nigeria. Why is that? Why is that? Again, because as Nigeria continues to grow socially and economically, there's also going to be a need. We've also seen that there have been a lot of shifts in the political culture and the political nature in Nigeria. Increased in political activity, political events, is always seen as an opportunity for cyber criminals. So there's going to be more regulations around cybersecurity and data protection that will be created in Nigeria. And as those regulations are developed, again, an increased need for cybersecurity professionals. What are the industries that are hiring in Nigeria right now? The financial services, the banking industry, as we talked about, information and communication companies. Let's see. In addition to that, the Ministry of Defense. Right. Excuse me. The Ministry of Defense. So again, government agencies and departments of defense protecting their nation, and then also non-government organizations. Singapore. Singapore is another nation that has recognized the need for increased cybersecurity. All right, between April and June, okay, 3 months in 2022, there were just under 2 million web threats against internet users that were detected and blocked in Singapore. So again, there were just under 2 million threats against the internet users that were blocked in Singapore. The senior minister and coordinating minister for national security actually recently unveiled and updated their national cybersecurity plan. So the fact that we have a nation who has dedicated an entire division of their ministry to focus specifically on cybersecurity just lends to the validity of the increased need for attention and development in the area of cybersecurity. So where are the threats in Singapore? Again, Singapore saw a massive increase in cyber threats due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think globally, many countries and many nations saw increases in cybercrime due to the pandemic. Right? What do cyber criminals do? They exploit fear and anxiety to get victims, right? To get victims to respond. You know, I just the other day, I received an email basically saying that, you know, I was going to be sued by the Internal Revenue Service unless I immediately paid an unpaid tax bill. But the good news for me was I could provide a credit card and pay immediately, which I knew right away through my development and my training. It was a cyber criminal attempting to get my information. So cyber criminals, they exploit that fear and anxiety to try and deceive victims to forego important information. And with the COVID, whether it's a vaccination, whether it's medical records, the pandemic has created a whole new area of cybercrime that we had not anticipated. Again, in Singapore, always new and untested technologies, innovation, those will always continue. What are some of the jobs opportunities in Singapore? Many of the same ones we've already talked about. The financial industries, intelligence industry, the healthcare industry, but military and paramilitary agencies, ministries of defense. And we probably didn't emphasize that enough. But, you know, our nation's ministries and departments of defense are one of the highest levels of cybersecurity that exist in the cyber world. Why? Because we rely on those to protect our freedoms, our liberties, and our safeties. So who's ECCouncil University? Who are we? What do we do? And what role do we play in this cyber world? Well, we're actually a university that we're dedicated specifically to developing programs in the area of cybersecurity. We build on the recognition. Those of you in the industry may have heard of our parent company, known as the International Council of Electronic Commerce Consultants, also known as ECCouncil. Okay, so our parent company, ECCouncil, it's globally recognized. It's the largest certification body specializing in cybersecurity certifications. And so approximately 6 years ago, our parent company recognized the need to continue building programs, and ECCouncil University was actually licensed in 2006. But over the last 6 to 10 years, we've continued to add new and emerging programs. Who are we? We're our alumni. We really let our alumni speak for ourselves. And I would encourage you to visit our website, and you'll be able to see who our alumni are, where they're working, what they're doing, and the roles they're playing in this fight against cybercrime. So when somebody asks, who is ECCouncil University, one of our #1 responses is, we are our alumni. We're so proud of the competencies and the skill sets and the knowledge that our alumni develop and earn and go out into the field utilizing in their careers. We are a fully accredited US-based university. We are accredited by DEAC, which is the Distant Education Accrediting Commission. They are the largest accrediting body for online programs. ECCouncil University is a global, international, fully online university, but we are a US-based university, and we're also recognized by CHEA, the National Council for State Authorization Reciprocity Agreements, and then the American Council on Education, which is ACE. So accreditations and recognitions which are very, very key to the credibility of our university and our programs. So what programs do we offer? Well, we offer a Bachelor's of Science in Cybersecurity. We offer a Master's of Science in Cybersecurity. And what's not shown here is I'm so excited to announce that we just recently rolled out a new Master's of Science in Computer Science with a specialization in cybersecurity. So again, we also have a Master's of Science in Computer Science with a specialization in cybersecurity, which focuses in on blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics as well. We also offer graduate certification programs where we cluster multiple courses together to provide certificate programs in the areas of information security professional, security analyst, enterprise security analyst, digital forensics, incident management and business continuity, and executive leadership in information assurance. And then we also offer non-degree certifications. So anybody who is interested in earning either individual cybersecurity certifications or just taking a course, we have the opportunity to provide those to students as well. And then for colleges and universities, as well as organizations, we also provide faculty development. One of the things we're most proud of is our faculty. Our faculty consists of industry professionals, individuals who work in the industry, individuals who can bring real world scenarios and real world situations into the classroom and into the labs. And one of the things we're most proud of when we talk about our alumni, when they graduate and they go out there and they're working in the industry, feedback we've heard from employers is that ECCouncil University students typically don't have as long of a learning curve. They get out there, they start doing the work right away. And that's because we're committed to bringing the best from the industry into the classroom. So now what I'd like to do is take a few minutes, and I know that there might be some questions that some folks might have. We'll do our best in the remaining 10 minutes to get through some of your questions. And if we don't have time, again, we would encourage you to please visit our website, get more information on the programs, whether you want more information on the individual courses, more information on our alumni or our faculty, please visit that. I would also encourage you, if you are an international student, I would encourage you to reach out to us because we do have some unique and some very beneficial opportunities depending upon the region, the international region that you reside in. So let's see here. We have a question in the chat. Okay, the question is why ECCouncil is not highly recognized by employers in the UK. To be very candid, I'm not sure. I think this is one of the first times where I've heard that ECCouncil is not highly recognized. We actually work with some organizations. We're currently working with some higher education institutions that are looking to bring our certifications into the UK. What I would encourage you to do, if you have some more specific examples of employers that aren't recognizing that, I would encourage you to give us a call, speak to one of our enrollment advisors. They can gather some information. I would personally be more than happy to look into that. Again, if you can provide the name of some specific employers, even if you wanted to do that here on the chat. But personally, I have not heard that. But if there are some agencies or employers out there, I'd be more than happy to look into that. Any advice for someone making a transition from a non-technical degree? Yes, and I apologize. The one thing that I didn't mention is that whether you're coming in at the bachelor's or the master's level, if you're coming in at the bachelor's level, you can have an associate's, you can have another bachelor's in a non-technical area. One of the benefits of the programs at ECCouncil University is we embed the certifications into the program. So I had mentioned earlier that a lot of individuals who have backgrounds in accounting and finance are now looking to get into the field of cybersecurity. So somebody could come to us with an associate's in business or finance, or even a bachelor's, and maybe they want to complete a bachelor's and get a bachelor's in cybersecurity or get a second bachelor's. That is a perfect profile for a student for us, because while they enroll in the program, they will also be earning the certifications. Same thing on the master's levels. In all of our master's programs, if you have a bachelor's in a non-technical field, that's fine, because we will teach you and we'll start from square one, and you will have the ability to earn those certifications while you're in the master's program. Now, if you are already working in the IT field, or you have an IT background and you have these certifications, you have the ability at ECCouncil University to apply those certifications and potentially waive out of coursework at the bachelor's or the master's level. So we will recognize if you have those certifications from an accrediting body and an accrediting awarding institution to look at those. So again, if you're coming from a non-technical background, or you have a previous education in a non-technical field, that's okay. You fit a good portion of our students, and we'll be able to help you earn those certifications. Yes, the question is there a scholarship for ECCouncil University? I would encourage you to go on our website, and we have a specific section dedicated specifically for scholarships. Some of the examples, we have a dean's scholarship. We have a scholarship for individuals that are part of a military family. So if you happen to be a dependent or a spouse of either an active, a U.S. active military or veteran, we provide a scholarship, and the list goes on. So we actually provide many scholarships, probably too many to go through here. So I would go ahead and encourage you to look. And again, if you're an international student, I would encourage you to speak to one of our enrollment advisors, because we do have scholarships that are specific to various international regions. So next question was, yes, we do provide scholarships for international students. So please speak to one of our enrollment advisors. And then do we provide installments and payment options? Absolutely. Part of our admissions process when you apply to the university is we'll sit down with you and we'll go through and help you identify, are there scholarships? Are there other resources that are available to you? And we'll do our best to make sure we provide and give you the best financial and affordable plan possible. And then we have a wonderful student finance department that will work with you and try and make sure that you have a payment plan or you have an affordability plan that works well for you. So the individual, next question, individual completed a bachelor's in computers in India and wondering if they're eligible to enroll in the master's here at ECCU. What I would encourage any international student to do, again, is to speak with our enrollment advisor. It's dependent upon the university and the institution that you earned your credits and your degree in. Institutions vary the way they recognize and they award credits. So part of the admissions process here is we're going to take a look at all of your previous education, your previous degrees, your transcripts, and we're going to do a complete evaluation for you and let you know what transfers in, what can we recognize, what can we give you credit for. And we have a wonderful team, and we're going to do everything to try and make sure that we can recognize as much of your previous credit as possible. So individual indicated that they have, let's see here, they want to join the university. They have the TOEFL, which is great, and they want to know if they can join the university. English, proficiency in English is a requirement to enroll in our university. If English is not your #1 language, or you're not proficient in English, again, I would encourage you to speak to an admissions advisor, because there are various ways that we can help you demonstrate your proficiency in English. It might be through a test. It might be through earning a proficiency through various agencies. And our admissions team can help you identify where you can earn that proficiency if you currently don't already have that proficiency in English. I think, and I'm going to try to roll up, I think there was another question. All right, so somebody had indicated, I believe this is a student from one of our academic partners, UM6P. It is a university in Morocco that we have a partnership with, and we actually help educate and provide master's degrees to their university students. So I believe this question was from a UM6P student. They have a 95 score on the test, and they want to know whether or not they can be selected by their UM6P. What I would encourage you to do to this student is to reach out to your contact there at UM6P. I believe her name is Hajar, and Hajar can answer that question for you and provide you the proper direction on how to enroll at ECCU. So the next question, what's the best valuable program for a bachelor's degree? Well, my answer to that is, if you're looking to enter into the cybersecurity arena, a bachelor's in cybersecurity, such as the bachelor's that we offer here at ECCouncil University, is the best. And the reason it's the best is because I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. We provide the most in-demand cybersecurity certifications in the program. So while you are enrolled in the bachelor's, we're not just teaching, we're helping you earn those certifications. So by the time you graduate, you don't have to worry about going out and trying to take those tests and earn those certifications on your own. We're going to provide you the direction, the guidance, the training, provide you with the exam vouchers so that by the time you graduate, you will have earned those certifications. And that's critical for individuals who are just looking to enter into the market. You know, there are programs that are out there where you can graduate with a bachelor's, but you still don't have any of the certifications that employers require you to have in order to be hired. We recognize, and the reason we exist is to help individuals to get those jobs and to fill that employment gap. That is one of the our number one priorities, and our vision, our values, and our mission is to fill that employment gap. And the way we do that is by encompassing those certifications and embedding them in the program to help you get those jobs. All right, I would like to be respectful of time. If there are any questions here that we were not able to answer, again, I would encourage you to visit our website. If you can't find the answer there, please reach out to us. We have a very dedicated, committed, and well-educated admissions team who can answer any question and all the questions that you have. So I'd like to thank you for joining. And again, whether you're just exploring cybersecurity as a career, I think you've picked a phenomenal and a wonderful career with a great outlook. Or if you're in the industry and you're already working and you want to explore how you can continue to advance your career, again, we can help you achieve that as well. So with that, again, I thank you on behalf of ECCouncil University, our leadership team, our faculty, and our alumni. Have a wonderful day.